Hello, here in Tijuana with my friend Daniel Nuñez. Right now we're passing by the wall where many people, even thousands, have died trying to cross and get into the United States. Tijuana is a fascinating place with great culture. Over 2 million people live in Tijuana, but the needs are also great, and that is one of the reasons why we feel it's important to minister in this city. And we're excited about the opportunity that we have to work with Daniel Nuñez. So I have talked to Daniel and asked him some questions, and I wanted to share those with you today. Daniel, as we look at working together and partnering together, like we've been talking to Harbor and helping with some of the churches you're planting, how do you see that as being important to accomplishing growth in the church and the kingdom of God, seeing that expand here on both sides of the border?
Well, when I've seen the impact that it has when Christians work together, and anybody that works together, but as Christians and work for God together as one church and with one mind to preach Jesus Christ and to reach people for his kingdom, not for ourselves. That's when we can join forces and we can look at not only labels, but we can see the people coming to Christ, and the partnership with all with Harbor, with Beam, and No Mejor del Trigo, and all the churches that God has put in our radar to work in these communities, in these cities. It's just something that we can do alone. Missions, I learned a phrase that says, doing together what we cannot do alone. And that's very important, that we do it together for God's kingdom. And the partnership is very important because we're not looking for our own interest, but to serve God and to serve His people.
Okay, we have Ray and Danielle here by the land where we're looking to build a church, Harbor, partnering with Lo Mejor del Trigo. So I've asked Danielle to share a little bit about his vision for reaching the area.
Well, here is we're standing in the lot where the church is going to be built. It's church number 15 of Lo Mejor del Trigo. God gave us a vision to plant churches, as you've heard before, 50 churches, and this is going to be number 15. It's going to be 6 years since we started planting the first church, and then God has been blessed us with groups that want to build the church, and this is no exception, because here we have Pastor Leo, who is going to be pastoring this church. The story about Pastor Leo, how God called him. God had called him to be a pastor for about 20 years, and he always said no and no. And then he was sent to help a church in Tijuana. And when he was helping in that church and basically becoming the senior pastor of that church, there was a little bit of jealousy, and the lady that was in charge of that church basically kicked him out. Said, "We don't want you here. We want to be, I want to be the pastor here." So there was a little bit of a situation, and he was driving by here the other day, and he said, a couple months ago, and he was on the way to see me in Tijuana, and he and his wife looked at each other and said, "Hey, we have this lot here for a church. Why don't we talk to Pastor Daniel and see if they can build a church for us here?" And he went and talked to me, and then the next day I talked to Pastor Dick and all the staff in Harbor in San Diego, and here we are getting ready to build church number 15 here in Tijuana, in the Tijuana area. Rosarito used to be part of Tijuana, and for about 20 years it has been its own city. So it used to be part of Tijuana.